going on? It's Nate Maven. Today we have to go on with conferencing. Cisco meeting server, which is called CMS, brings the video, audio, and web communication together to meet the collaboration needs of a contemporary workplace. The Cisco meeting app allows anyone to create, join, and run meetings easily, either from room or desk video systems to mobile clients or browsers. The meeting server helps to ensure that everyone gets a consistent, familiar meeting experience, whether they are joining the meeting or using Cisco's third-party video endpoints. A Java client or Cisco meeting app is a native or via WebRTC compatible browser or Skype business. Any number of people can join a meeting up to the limits of available underlying hardware. So meeting server optimize the bandwidth usage in order to reduce the cost. So meeting server also provides the optimal user experience that is simple. So we deploy the video audio conferencing in an enterprise for conferencing resources. And we use TMS, Telepresence Management Suite, for conference provisioning, monitoring, and scheduling. We have a TMS Management Suite extension for your Microsoft Exchange, TMSXE, for interfacing with Microsoft Exchange Room and resources calendars. The meeting management is for monitor and manage the meetings. That's important. CLI will have to configure on the CMS. We're going to list of the conference certificates generated, and we're going to type PKI list. The call bridge is components on the meeting server, and the call bridge exchanges audio video streams so that participants can see and hear each other. This service must be activated before any call can be placed. So the web interface will show licenses are not installed when this service is disabled, even if licenses are in fact installed. Call bridge service is also required for CMA or WebRTC to operate. Let's type call bridge. The web admin interface is a browser-based interface to the meeting server and a call bridge service. So before it can be enabled, the web admin must be configured with correct certificate to use as well as correct interface to listen. So we type web admin. So by default, web admin listens on the standard HTTPS port of 443. However, listen lab will enable the web bridge for conference users and want the service to be available on default HTTPS ports. So to enable the service to coexist, we will configure the web admin to listen on 445 and require administrator to supply extra port information when browsing to the web admin interface. Let's log on to GUI config on CMS. We're going to navigate to configuration and the call settings. We'll notice that the SIP media encryption is required, and SIP call participant labels is enabled, and audio packet size is preferred to 20 milliseconds. The settings recommend for most usages is allowed, and the setting allows both encryption and non-encryption connections. So take care before setting to require, if you want to specify encryption is required before calls can connect. Then we're going to navigate to configuration and incoming calls. In the incoming calls, the pages will determine how meeting server handles incoming SIP calls. Any call routes to the meeting server will have a alias being called checked against the rules in the call meeting table to determine whether meeting server should look for potential matches. Then we'll do configure for the all bound calls. Well, to make all bound calls from meeting server, calls must be directed via the all bound call rules to a destination, such as call managers, where call managers or expressway, BCS, similar to incoming call rules. All routing is based on that domain of without aliases, and rules are possessed from the high priority to the lowest. If matched, CMS attempts to send calls to the defined SIP proxy. So the behavior setting is a rule that controls whether further rules are processed or if a rule matches. But the remote proxy rejects the call. This lab deployment will route all bound calls to our singular call control, which is the call manager or expressway VCS. Then next, talk about the permanent space. We're going to create a permanent space allow to verify configuration. Aliases defined in the table will only include the left-hand side of the SIP URL. To checklist, we're going to configuration and spaces. Here you go. The alias here define in the table will only include the left-hand side of the SIP URL, and the incoming call rules table handles matching on the right side of the alias. Now we'll have to configure the web bridge in the CMS. To support the web bridge function, the XMPP service must be deployed. So there are 3 important steps to configure the web bridge. Again, all the steps that have been already configured, so we don't have to worry. I'll just show you what I have configured. So we enable web bridge in the interface using a port 443. So I have to log in back to the CMS. Then I'm gonna to XMPP, and here the certificates the file using follow the commands like XPP. You have to say XPP and listens on to 443, and we'll configure the certificates and the CA bundles together. I'm going to check with XPP command. So we'll have to add a call bridge to XMPP server. I would use like to say XMPP call bridge list. Now call bridge is added for XMPP. So now we need to enable the web bridge on the interface using port 443 and use the certificates to file you for like a web bridge listen for 443, and the certificate also your CA bundle. So I can check it with already configured web bridge. I have cert, I have CA bundle together. Listen 443. Now we can check what is the XMPP server setting in CMS. It is going to navigate to configuration and general. In general, we can see the unique call bridge name and domain name and the server name. It will require the share secret, and I can show you like XMPP call bridge list. Here is the secret. You just type in to the GUI interface. Then I will see the status of my XPP and go to status and general. Here what you see is MPP connected to CMS already. That's good. Now is to take a look at configuration of web bridge server. We are going to configuration and that's general. Go down to here web bridge. I have web bridge join dcloudcisco.com and JID domain is this. And I can confirm the call bridge is not reporting any error for the web bridge. We're going to status and general. I'm going to check like the no alarms and the fault condition in right here. Now let's review configuration for user import. Importing as users from LDAP allows conference participants to log in to the Cisco meeting app using their own account to manage their spaces and join meetings. Participants can also join meetings as a guest user. However, guest users cannot manage meetings or create manager spaces. So the LDAP imports in the meeting server allows me to specify which user to target for an existing directory. What I have to do is configuration and Active Directory. Here's how I import from my LDAP and the value to use for resulting accounts we have to import. For also optionally supports the creating a person space from each imported user. Which user and a specific value or to import deployment specific decision here we can make, and here's the example. We'll import the all user from Active Directory and set login they will use and create a space for each user. Then I can check imported user and navigate to status and user here. Or we can find all the imported users are right here. When check, then check the call manager so we enable conference with the CMS. Let's log into my lovely CMS call manager. We have first to define a SIP profile. I have to go to device setting. And we'll find the SIP profile. Let's check the standard SIP profile for CMS. And here you can take a look at what have been created and set up for the CMS. Everything showing right here. And we'll have to then create a trunk is a communication channel on the call manager to enable call manager to connect to other services. We're using one or more trunks. The call manager can receive or initiate the voice, video, and encrypted calls, exchange real-time event information, and communicate with the call control and other external servers. What we do is go to device and the trunk, and we'll find a trunk called SIP trunk CMS. SIP trunk CMS. So total this trunk is pointing to CMS, dcloud, Cisco.com. And port is 5061, and the setup must be repeated for each call bridge in Cisco meeting server cluster nodes. For example, if there are 3 call bridges in a cluster, it should be 3 SIP trunk configured. Okay. After that, we have to configure SIP media resources for CMS bridge. So this is configured as conference media resource and conference bridge. We have to configure a conference bridge, provide 2 key pieces of information to call manager. First is the API credential. It is API credential to communicate with the Cisco meeting server. And we'll have to set a destination address for the communication. So this username is created with API privileges for CUCM. Okay. So now after creating the SIP conference bridge, once all conference bridges are configured, then I can add to the media resource group MRG. It is configured also in MRG media resource group list. Media resource group. What I can find is called CMS video. Yeah, CMS. Here you go. So each media resource group should contain 1 conference bridge for each call bridge in Cisco meeting server node, so that a communication with 1 call bridge node is not possible. Then the call can be routed to other nodes. This is CFB. And we'll have media resource group list with video. And we'll have one thing to configure. It is called the SIP media resource group list. Is configured with like this video, which contains the CMS. So the media resource group can be added to here. It's called the MRGL, media resource group list. And MRGL can be assigned to a device or device pool in the call manager and used when those devices escalate a point-to-point call to a conference call using a conference button. I can go ahead, take a look how many device pool associated to. 11 of these device pools. And we'll have to configure route group and route list as usual. So our configure is the route group first. We have a route group for space scheduled space, and under current call route group member, we'll see the SIP trunk CMS trunk included the route group, and we can navigate to call routing and find the route list. Here you go. We have to find, and we'll find a route list space scheduled, and we'll notice CM1 is chosen, and in the call manager group And here we have the RG route group scheduled in the route list. And we'll notice the run on all active call manager nodes is checked, and this route group is added. Now we have to take a look at like domain-based patterns. The patterns will have to call in SIP, so the call will be in call routing, and the SIP route pattern will have to find a domain to make a call. It is the domain right here. Is a pattern. Our pattern is a dot domain, and we're using route list. This route list, and which contains the CMS trunk. And if it is numerical based route pattern, it's not a domain. Like if it's not domain, we can go to route pattern. We can find how we dial the space. Now we have a space created A1001 incoming, and this is CMS permanent space. We created. Here you go. So permanent space. Okay. And you can call this domain for incoming. And this is the domain. This is the pattern A1001, and it calls to permanent space 01 route pattern. The route pattern should match the aliases range configured for the scheduled conference. Here we have a scheduled conference range A0991001, and we should have a pattern to match that. So this is the pattern we created. When administrator can create this numeric ID range for scheduled conference in Cisco TMS. One space will be created for each numeric ID. Now let's check CMS in TMS. Let's open a tab, like to open the TMS suite. And CMS has been pre-configured in the TMS. We'll just need to go open on the bottom left. Open the System Navigator. And we're going to select is the infrastructure and meeting server. Click the setting. Here we can see the information about the meeting server. Let's go to connection. In here we can see such as the IP address, home host name, and system connectivity, all the information. Now let's do some scheduling. I guess for schedule the conference, we can go navigation to the configuration. In the administrative tool, configuration, and find out is the conference setting. Let's take a look at default schedule call. We want to use is one button to push. When a meeting starts, there's a button to push to join the meeting. You don't want to auto connect. You want to see the button, right? And scroll down, and we'll notice preferred MCU. Preferred MCU, we use the Cisco meeting server. In old time, you can use a telepresence server, and here you go, we're going to use meeting server. Let's now take a look what is in the system. Find a navigator, meeting server. In the settings, extend the settings. Here the number participants dial to join the scheduled conference have been already configured. So the administrator can configure a range of numeric ID here, and for each number created, TMS will create an inactive space in CMS. When the user schedules a meeting, TMS will select the available space to host the meeting and return the dial-in number to the organizer. And when it is time to start the scheduled meeting, TMS will activate the space and participants can call the number to join the meeting on that space. Here's what is being automatically created. Navigate to space. It creates the 1 for schedule call. 809910001. Here you go, create 1. And the route pattern we're gonna create in the call manager should match the numeric ID and the quantity here defined here. Now let's take a look at Cisco Meeting Management Configuration. Though it's called CMM, it is an on-premise management solution for Cisco meeting server. It is set up for management service built around the CMS and its API. Let's log into the CMM. Let's use Chrome. So CMM complements and extends the features set of the CMS. Together, CMS and CMM form a complete video solution. So TMS continues to provide the scheduling services and endpoint management. So one of the arms of the CMS is to enable customer to move from the legacy products to CMS. So without CMM, there's a feature gap that prevents customer from moving to CMS. CMM will make things easier for our customers, right, and partners and reseller, and will eventually be a single pane of glass in front of CMS that can offer managing and monitoring meetings and security auditing, account management and provision, and we can diagnose and troubleshoot, and we can monitor license and utilization. Let's just give a login to the administrator. Proceed, and here what you can find is overview, page status of the entire CMS. We have is the CMS cluster, whether it's a single, a cluster, a distributed. I also find information such as number of active calls, right? Total spaces and number of meetings. It's really easy, and find a setting and find the network. Here you define pre-configured and initial configuration. CMS is on a virtual machine. Okay, and we can configure the NTP, and we'll click the servers to review the call bridge. Here is the CMS. We can review the call bridge on port 445. Let's now log on to my Java. Want to dial in my permanent space, which is 8001. But I had some trouble to log in. But anyway, you get everything you know. We have is the CMS with CMM, Call Manager, TMS, etc.
Hey everyone, NetMaven here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to dive into the world of amazing network technologies with me, and please feel free to leave your comments below. Hey everyone, NetMaven here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to dive into the world of amazing network technologies with me, and please feel free to leave your comments below.